so I have Chauncey here again. We haven't made video forever,
I know.
but we have a chance to be at one of her flip projects today. But the one thing I want to ask you is, with the markets right now, with the interest rate going so high, I know a lot of people either on the seller side and on the buyer side, they have a certain concern.
Right.
And a lot of consumer, they just trying to find a way to move with the market. So
Right.
when you having Chauncey having like multiple flipping project going on right now, and like this one is actually sold.
Yeah.
So how are you doing on the seller side? What are you feeling the markets right now?
Honestly, we're not feeling it as bad as a lot of other sellers. And here's why. I understand that the market is very volatile right now, that everyone is really afraid of interest rates. And in order to make someone pull the trigger, you've got to create a product that they really, really, really want.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing far too many flippers out there cranking out the same product and not changing their strategy and just doing the same old boring shit, cutting corners like they have been, but still expecting to get a good outcome. And unfortunately, you're not getting that. So really on our end, instead of getting 6, 7, 8 offers on day one, it may take 3 or 4 days and we're only getting 2 offers.
Yeah.
But our product is still selling because it's still a unique product. It's still a high quality product. It looks really good. It presents well. It's different than everything else that's out there. And so we're not really experiencing a lot of issues. So that's one tip that I would say, whether you are a retail seller, like you're just somebody that needs to sell your house, or you're, renovating properties, like you need to hire a designer. You need to do the staging. You need to do the good photography. You cannot do
Everything.
shit work.
Yeah.
Like you've got to do good quality work, or else like it's just not gonna sell. It's gonna sit.
It's not gonna stick.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing too. Like a lot of people still have that mindset of like, I can just put my house on the market.
Oh yeah.
And then, drop the price as the market goes.
No.
And I'm like, that is not a great way to look at it, because if you overprice, and if you have a certain amount of buyer going to that neighborhood, they might not even consider to look at your house instead. And then when you start dropping your price, as you think I can, go up 20, 30 grand, and then 1 week, 3 week go by, I can start dropping.
No.
Everything stick on your record for that house.
Absolutely. And the consumer is going to think something's wrong with the house, that it's stale, and it's just a different market. So you just have to pivot. You've got to price aggressively, even possibly price a little bit low, instead of pricing on the higher end. And you've got to present a good product, because buyers that are going to pay 8%, when they come in your house that you cut all these corners on and they see your shit work, they're going to turn right back around and leave, because they do not have time to spend their 8% on your crappy house. Like they're just not going to do it.
And then, so that's for seller, right? Make sure that your property prepped up correctly.
Yeah.
The flower bed, the staging, the photography, the marketing is very important in today's market, to make sure that you have a good product and marketing consistency. That's how you can get the buyer to stick to that deal and even have a chance to negotiate with them.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so now on the buying side, for regular buyer,
Right.
what is with the 8%? Like if people know for sure that they're going to have to buy a house in the next 3 to 6 months, right? And I'm talking about people like not buying because of just the interest rate.
Right.
There's actually family that have reason to buy a house.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They have to buy, but they are conflicting with all the news and people telling them 8% not good market to buy and all that. But they know they have to buy. Which is something that you can recommend to these people, so then they can know the information is confirmed.
Right.
They can think about it and make the right decision.
I would say that the interest rate is not permanent. It's just not. The 8% is not going to always be there. Just like the 3% and the 2% that we saw during COVID is not here anymore.
Yeah.
Like interest rates are always going to change. But what is happening in this market is sellers are desperate. Sellers are scared. They're very unsure about whether their house will sell or not. It's sitting a little bit longer. If things aren't flying off the shelf like what they imagined in their head, then they get very skittish.
Yep.
And right now is a good time for buyers to take advantage of that.
Yep.
You can take advantage of that and get a lower price. You can get seller concessions. You can then use some of those seller concessions if you want to buy down your rate. So then ultimately you can still get a lower rate.
Yeah.
You can get a lower price. You can get seller concessions towards your closing costs. Like
Less
you
money
can
out of pocket.
less money out of pocket. It's so many things that you can negotiate. And then in a couple of years or whenever rates will change, because eventually they will change, like they always do.
Yeah.
Then if you need to refinance, then you can. But all of these other things on the front end, that in a market when the rates are low and you're competing against so many people, you can't get some of what you can get right now. So I would say, like, get out there and really take advantage of the seller mindset that has a little bit more urgency than what they had before.
Like it's just so clear that we can see two market.
Yeah.
2 years ago, when rate goes super low, what happened? People have to offer like 70,000, 80,000 over, and then no option period. And then you like, if something wrong with the house, you can't even ask them to fix it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want to piss them off because they're gonna sell the house to somebody else, right? But in today's market, it is totally the market for you to take advantage of that. So easier for you to negotiate a price. If something come out on the inspection report, you have a chance to negotiate this stuff. Less money out of your pockets. They're gonna have to give you money for your seller concession, buying down the rate, so you have cheaper house, better home because you get people to fix it, and you come out less cash in your pocket. So a lot of people ask, like, you know, don't ask an agent if you should buy a house, because their answer is always going to be yes. And it's true. We always going to say yes. But the deeper level is title company close every day. Don't matter what market it is. Our job as an agent is to identify who is the right buyer for today's market. Not everybody should buy a house. So if you ask me if I should buy a house or not, I'm gonna say yes. But the next question is, it depends on your scenario. Right? Where your cash is at. What are you buying a house for? Investment, or you have a baby coming our way? That's a different story after that.
Yes, preach. I would totally agree with that. And something just to kind of throw in, when I first got started in the business in 2016, I remember asking my mentor at the time, like, what do we do in like a down market? Like, aren't you scared of the market crashing? You know, the question that everyone asks. And she said something to me. She told me to go and look up how many residential transactions happened in 2009. And for those of you who don't know, that was like at the brink of like the last big crash. And then she told me to look up how many real estate transactions had happened so far that year. And it was on pace for the same amount of transactions. And so she was like, what I want you to understand is, it doesn't matter what type of market we're in. People are going to be buying and selling houses. It may not be the same people. It may not be the same agents with the same market share. But real estate transactions are going to happen. And so it's just whether or not you want to be a part of that and understand where that market is and where you fit in with that.
Perfect. All right. So that's it for this video. If you guys have questions, you guys want to partner with us on EXP, because Chauncey and my main focus is going to be social media and building agent branding from the very beginning, so you can leverage that social media. So then, you know, 2 year, 3 year down the road, let the media work for you as a lead generation. So if you want to partner with us, contact the link below, and then we'll schedule a phone call with you guys.